Hey, MLS listing subscribers, welcome back to another Vendor Spotlight. As always, I'm your host, Dave Scalora. And we're going into the holidays now, and we thought, what better way to kind of wrap up the year than have our good friends from RPR on, Andrea Goodhart, Ernie Bottom, Directors of Industry Relations. Guys, how you doing today?
Doing great, Dave. It's
Yeah,
great to be here again. Always a pleasure to be with you and the members of MLS Listings.
Great. No,
yeah.
it's great
Thanks
to
for
see you.
having us.
Thank you, Ernie. Yeah, always great to see you guys. You guys always have such great updates. Sometimes I wonder, do you guys ever stop just for a second and exhale? Because it seems to me you guys always have new stuff ready for us, which is we love. It's fantastic. And it's really cool stuff too this time.
It's
Um,
it's the name of the game. It really is. We have to keep up with what the members want. And so we've got a fantastic team at RPR that's just always thinking of new ideas and listening to the members.
So you
So
guys on this one, you guys have you got some updates on your property detail reports, some data enhancements, some functionality and layout improvements there you guys have done. And I know you're going to give us some hot prospecting tips too at the end. So we look forward to that. But I guess I'll ask you, always the question whenever we change to anything like this, the question is, why? Why did it? Was it a bit of feedback coming back, or was it just the old, I don't know, RPR, good is never enough? Uh,
well, really a combination of both, Dave. We have a team that we really call member engagement, and with that, along with our development team, we're busy always doing user surveys, doing one-on-one testing, and really getting feedback in a lot of different ways. And that's from users that are loving the site, but also ones that are asking for improvements or have frustration. So, along with all the feedback that we get, right, Ernie? I mean,
Yep.
it all helps develop and prioritize our development and
Well,
what we're
and
doing.
we kind of track the tools that people use, and the ones that they don't use, we, either improve or get rid of or move or something.
Right, right. No, and that's the kind of the whole reason we started this show. It's got to highlight the things that were being underutilized that we know are really cool, and make sure everyone knows of all these, features and updates. So, I guess we've teased people long enough. Ernie, do you want to pop on in and give a little demo of some of these changes we can see on?
All right. Well, there we are.
Here
Yeah.
we are, and there's our email address is there. So if you have any questions, after the fact, please feel free to reach out to myself or Ernie. And then, of course, at the end, we're going to plug our great help desk support team that's always there for you as well. So that's really important.
Great. Awesome.
So, with today's session, it's really all about the property details pages and the enhancements that we have just recently released. And again, as we just mentioned, it's all about the feedback from the users because we want to make their experience as efficient and effective and without frustration as can be. So, we really looked at the property details page where so many people spend a lot of time within RPR, and we feel like we hit kind of a home run. It's a cleaner look. You're able to get to information you need and the feedback of the type of data that you're looking for. And then we've consolidated some of the data that was spread among several different tabs into one location. So that was really very, very important to us. And again, it really came back from user feedback and surveys. And the goal is to make the flow of when you're researching properties and working on RPR to be efficient. And that's really, really important to us. So, with that, what we're going to do is Ernie's going to go live and we're going to show you some of the highlights of the changes that we just recently made. And we've gotten great feedback. And I don't even remember what the old site looked like now. The old property details page. It just feels so comfortable now. So with that, Ernie, why don't you start us out with the tour here?
Sure. So the first thing I guess that we want to mention is that the search bar here at the top is on every page. So before it was only on the home page, and now you'll find it no matter where you are on the site. And another thing too that's nice is when you do a property search, you'll always have these breadcrumbs, they call them, to get back to where you were. So it's kind of a nice way to have that as kind of a resource to stay, on the property or the search page. And then we just kind of want to go through some of this. We put this new bar in here, and as I scroll, you'll see that it stays there. So it's kind of nice. You always can get back to that navigation here. And what Andrea mentioned is really so intuitive. When you see it now, you kind of wonder, well, why didn't you do it that way in the first place? But we put all of the key facts for the property right here at the top. You don't even have to scroll. So if you want to look at photos, you want to look at the street view, you want to look at a satellite view, it's all right here, easy to access. This is an active property, so we've got the list price, we've got that RVM, and then again, you have easy access to the refined value and the CMA. And then you can see here as well, when was this updated? The RVM was just updated a couple of weeks ago. And then you have the key facts for the property: beds, baths, square footage, how big is the lot, who's the owner, when did it last sell. Here's that RVM confidence score, so you always know, how good do we feel about that number. So it's a really nice, concise display of that information.
Nice. Yeah, I love the fact that you guys, it's all there right there on the right. You don't have to scroll down anymore like previously, where you'd have to, if you're looking for that information, right?
Right.
It's
And
just,
I
it's all
think
about.
if you recall, we had the map up top with some of the data on the other side, but then that really critical information, you had to scroll down and then
Right.
look left to right. And then the map, of course, is still right there, and it's interactive with all the tools. And the map has become and always has been a critical part to RPR. But again, all the toolbars for the map, as Ernie is showing, is right there available for you to select from. And whether it's the different enhancements, drive times, drawing tools, data layers, schools, all this is available. But I think one important little hint, Ernie, that we want to provide, you've got that great map here. How do you get out?
Yeah, there's no close button. So if you want to get rid of it, just click anywhere else but the map and it'll go away.
Just out onto the side. And that's one thing that we've, gotten a little feedback from, but it's easy to be able to open and close that map at any time. And then of course you've got that great, public remarks field there as Ernie scrolls down. And much of this is in the same familiar place. And as you move through property details, you'll see that. And one little hint that's really nice too is as you start to scroll down, there's other features that we sometimes take for granted, but the three little dots next to property facts or any section, if you want to collapse it, just click on it and close that section and open it. So any of that information you can open and close, and it helps you get through some of that pretty quickly. The property facts, same as it has been. We have those notes sections, the schools, all right there, both from a listing if the property's listed or from niche and niche. So the school data is there, interior features, exterior features. And we really do highlight very well on this layout too, whether it's coming from public data or from the listing data. There, as well as on the blue bars, it's very prominently displayed there. And as Ernie's moving down, this is a great section here that really went through some real change. We've always had current listing history, but previous history. But much of that was found on the right side of the screen in the past. We've now consolidated listing history so you can see the current listing, previous listings, and also do that compare records side by side. So with this property, if there had been 4 different past listings, it would be right there in the drop down, or you'd like to compare the existing listing to public record data. So again, that is really a great feature within this section. The other thing that we've done within the current listing is the price change and status. Scroll back up there for a second. We've actually added all different types of status changes. This property is showing active and price changes, but as it goes through the history to pending or under contract or back on market, this layout is refreshed and a cleaner look to really see the history of that property. So I really like that particular section for any property to be able to see the history. And for as many years of data that we have now, it can be really compelling and help that agent if it's a property that they're not familiar with and maybe going on a listing appointment. They'll see if that property's been listed, withdrawn, expired, that sort of thing, with all the history. So that's great. Ernie, let's move on down to that public record history. In the past, up there at the top, the blue bar where we have property information, we used to have a history tab. We have now combined all of this activity under property information. So you stay within the scroll. And so the public records, as you see there, we've got deed, mortgage tab, and tax. And all of that is right there for you without going to another tab and clicking. And some people didn't even realize with that old history tab that all of this was available. So the deed information, as Ernie's showing, you can open and expand to get more detail. If there is previous mortgage history, not only can you expand that tab, but you can also have the arrows to move right and left to go to older history. They're up on the right. So we've got 21, 20 history, 19. There's even some more to the right. As we see here. And also then with the tax data. That tax data we have several years back. And again, as we just simply use the arrows to go back and forth and be able to view that in what I consider a really elegant manner. It's easy to use and efficient from right there. So the property history, the pricing and status activity, all very clean and updated there. So
Very nice.
Ernie,
Yeah.
I'll let you jump into the sales and financing, or Dave, do you have any questions?
No, it's yeah, I think you nailed it with a clean, very clean. It's a ton of data, but it's laid out so nicely that it doesn't, feel overwhelming. It feels like you can get there so easily without having to scroll away from where you're at, right? Without having to get lost.
Less clicks and a little bit less scrolling, and at least the scrolling is right there, up and down,
right,
and right where you need it. So it's great.
Very good.
Yeah, what's nice about this sales and financing activity chart, again, that was always at the top of the history tab, but we actually have all the documents right below it, so you can see what these different activities were. You can put your mouse over those up on the screen, but we can show the detail kind of down below. So it's kind of a nice option, and you can always go back and just limit the results here based on the years. And as Andrea mentioned, we've got these 3 dots on each section, and if you want to, you can easily collapse those cards. And then here in the upper right where it says create report, there's a little drop down there, and one of the options is you can print this page. So you can print just this single page, and of course it's going to be several pages long because it's pretty extensive, but you can then hide those things that you don't want to have printed. So it really works out quite nice.
All right, so is that a new thing, the print feature? Because I usually just had a snippet.
Yeah, there used to be a print button just to the left of this, but now we've kind of incorporated all of that right into this same button.
And I think what's nice too is part of some of the new enhancements this year of that print the page, with this now being able to collapse or open certain areas, if all you wanted was this one or two charts, you could collapse everything else,
Right.
click print, and boom, you've got that one item ready to print, or use your print controls and save it as a PDF and include it within a report package.
Yeah, customize it like you like to view it, the data. So that's beautiful.
Yeah. The tools are really, really, helpful from that standpoint. And again, as Ernie said, that, you've got the navigation bar, the property information, and property trends, which we're going to lead into here in a moment. But Ernie, why don't you scroll all the way back up to the top, so that you'll see there is your location. So if you wanted to property hop and go to another property, you don't have to go home. That search bar is at the very top again. So that is being retained throughout, your activity. And that was a big ask. We had it at one point and it went away, and people voiced their opinions. So that search bar, if you scroll back up a little bit more, Ernie, right where location and that is, I mean, you can immediately make changes. If you wanted to see public records, instead now, or go to another address, real simple, and you don't have to click to go back home. So, Ernie, I'll let you take the next section. I think we were going to talk about what?
Yeah, the market trends.
The trends.
That's a new tab that we added to the property page. I'm just going to click on that. And what this shows is basically somebody says, hey, how's the real estate market? This is your answer. It gives you all of the salient facts here. We have less than a month of inventory, and we can see that's down from last month. The properties are selling at almost 100% of the list price, 18 days on the market. So again, you have all kinds of great information. There's always a link here that shows about this data. So it tells you, where is this information coming from? This is kind of nice right here too. It tells you, well, what is a balanced market? And it's between 5.5 and 6.5 months of inventory. And of course, right now we don't even have 1 month. So that's why it's such a strong seller's market. And then scrolling down, again, we have more information about the area that this property is in. We can see the number of listings that are in this area. And again, we can see going back, months, or we can just look at this 1 year and see what the listing, inventory has been. Below that, we have the sold properties. So again, we can see what kind of activity is happening in this area. Then we even have the public record sales. So those would be properties that were sold privately. And I thought it was kind of interesting too to see that the sale price is higher if you use a realtor. So it's a good thing.
That's always a good thing.
And then we also have the inventory. We have the distressed properties in this area, the median estimated property value. And again, it's all presented like Andrea said, in such a beautiful way, very attractive, and it's very captivating.
Yeah, it's I've seen the agents there all the time, to be honest, on you guys' market trends, not just for, you got to keep up with the market, especially our market, it's so dynamic, but also, if you need some graphs, some charts, you're working on, a flyer or whatever it is, to come in here, and grab some of these and paste them right into your reports. It's a nice, so many charts, so many graphs, so much data there.
Yep. Yeah. And Ernie, I think too, we've got the property type. The default is on the single family and condo townhome, but you can, modify that too. So we're not just looking at the standard type property types. You can select what you need. And of course, this is driven by the search area. And we were under Campbell, California, and that zip code. Another big ask has been this set of market trends. We were so excited to introduce these. These are not yet automatically integrated within our reports, but you can print these just in the same fashion up above of print, and you can collapse and only print one. or you can print all of them. So this is something that's coming forward, early next year, where these beautiful new laid out market trend graphs will be included in some of the property reports or sellers reports. So at this point, you can just simply, print these or save these as a PDF through your print controls.
Right.
Okay.
And another thing we changed is we have the My Updates. That's a new button here as well. Used to just be a little section on the property information page, but this is where you can add notes. And what's nice about the notes here is that I entered this note actually on the mobile app. And so it's all integrated and synchronized between the mobile app and the website. So you always have that information. You can also upload a photograph. It's very easy to do. Just select upload photo. You pick the photo from your computer, or if you're on the mobile app, you just take a picture. And then you can select to have this as, part of your report cover page. And you can add as many photos as you want. It's really, really nice. And this is different too, I guess I should mention, from the MLS, where any photos that you add here are only for your use. You're not basically sharing this with all the other realtors. It's strictly just for your use.
So if I went to a house and I'm using the RPR mobile app and I'm taking photos and making notes, right? It's going to sync up. So when I go back on my desktop, I'm going to see it, but the rest of the world's not going to see it, right? Just for my knowledge and for my.
Yeah, it pretty much synchronizes in real time. It's very quick.
That's pretty cool. And since we're talking about a little bit of RPR mobile, it's something that we've been meaning to do, because I know you guys have made updates. So, I know we'll tease them with a little bit, down the line, maybe start at Q1. We're gonna have you guys, and we're gonna take a look at that RPR mobile.
Definitely. And it really is, the two products look they're so smooth and compatible with one another. But, it's just like this example with photos. You take photos, for example, at when you're viewing properties with the client, on just when you're walking through a property, those photos will appear in this section, as well as any others that you may have. So it automatically syncs and is a great option here.
Nice.
And then we do have the seller's proceeds tab here as well. And that's just a really simple, proceeds worksheet that will add and calculate your numbers, but you do have to enter them. But it's a nice, simple sheet that you may want to use. So just know that that's there as well. I think. Yeah. So, that is really, a nice little tour of some of the enhancements that have come through with the property details. And again, the idea was to make it efficient and easy for your workflow, not as many clicks, not as many scrolls, and bring forward some of the data sets like the property history, and compare, previous listings to current listings that many folks were unaware that were really there. So we're just bringing that forward and making it all visible right there on the property details page. And then Ernie's popped up here that with this last release, just this past week, that this is important to us as well as to members. Our different data sets are being constantly updated, and through the about information, we tell you when they're updated or how often. So the school data that we work through niche, that data is updated quarterly. So that was just completed. On the commercial side, the tenant data, through SMR research, we receive tenant data. So that's very important. And we get those at least quarterly, as well. And then traffic count information that we get from a source called Calibrate. And traffic counts are shown on the map, both on the residential side of RPR as well as the commercial side. And those are updated annually, and are important for both those looking at residential property as well as very important to commercial practitioners.
Very good. Yeah, you guys have great reports, by the way. It's school reports and everything. So nice to know.
that's something too that, come next year, you may see some enhancements on reports. So we've got that expanded group already of reports that has that flexibility to be able to add and take away features or segments. So you only get what you want and you can customize those reports. So that's a lot of what we just presented and released as far as the property details, information, as you mentioned, Dave. Just a little over a month or so ago, we did this full release of RPR mobile. So we'd love the opportunity to come back and share, a full review of RPR mobile. Such an easy app to use. So with that, I think we've got a couple of other tips that Ernie and I both would like to share with you. In this market today, we have, such a tight market. All realtors are looking for possible sources of listings. And how can you do that using RPR? There's so much data here. So we're going to just kind of drill down and take a couple of scenarios and show you a couple of our favorite features that might help you identify some of those areas. So Ernie, we had picked, we're sticking with Campbell, California, and this zip code, and we're looking at sales to start with. Let's say that this is an area that you're looking at, but this is far too broad to really prospect, right? Or to farm. So, we don't want you to forget, as you open up the map, you'll see the activity. We know it's limited across the board, but there's new listings coming about. And this was, again, if you look at the tab, Show Geographies up here on the map, this is such an effective way to help filter the properties that you're wanting, whether you're looking for listings for a client, maybe by neighborhood or by school district. You'll see so many different options here. And, in this case, I'm going to say, I have this area, the name just struck me, Prune Yard and Dry Creek. I know that maybe that's a really kind of active, up and coming area. So I might like to farm that area. So if you see in the map, you now have some orange boundary lines because we selected minor under the neighborhoods there. And then if we click inside that particular area, you can do a few things. You can search in the area. You can create a neighborhood report. You can create a market activity report. You can save that area for future use if you're looking for current activity and may want to go back to that area at different times. But so don't forget, Ernie, just click again and maybe zoom in on the geography section. I think people tend to forget that this is here and that there's so many options. And I will tell you, based on the different parts of the city or state that you're looking at, you may have better boundary lines with an intermediate neighborhood or even micro neighborhoods. If you have a lot of townhome developments, micro neighborhoods may identify those, right off the bat, and you'll see those particular specified. So play with the areas that you're working in so that you feel comfortable of which particularly boundaries, and sections work best for you. But also don't forget, and I'm going off script here with Ernie for a minute, but some folks may want to just draw boundaries and create an area. So you can draw boundaries freehand with RPR over here with these tools. And you have a freehand. Let's say that you want properties that are within just a few blocks and on one side of the highway. You can, create your own section. Or how about you want all the properties along a golf course? That may be in a couple of different sections of a subdivision. you can simply draw that and then search in that area and save it as a unique search. So all of these geographies and map tools really help for you to kind of focus on where you're going. So Ernie, let's backtrack for a second. Let's go back to our minor neighborhoods, and let's click in that prune yard, sorry, and you can save that area, of course, and then you'll find that over in your user saved area. You can name it whatever you want. If this is for the Jones family, you can do that. Or if this is an area that you're always looking in, you can name it and save it, and it will then be available over here in that section. So with that in mind, Ernie, let's take them a step further. We're looking at current properties, but what if we want to look at all the public records so that we may identify a little bit more? Can you take them through that?
Sure. Yeah. So at the top here, we'll just change our type and status to public records. And we should be good as far as our, we'll check all of our property types, and we'll hit search. And we can see that there's really 966 properties in this, we'll say this neighborhood. So again, if you wanted to do some prospecting or farming, you can kind of go a little bit deeper. So if this 966 is too big a number, we've got a filter option here just to the right of the search bar, where you can kind of, you know, whittle this down to a more manageable number. Some of the different things that you might want to look at as I kind of scroll down here, you know, if you wanted to look for properties that maybe were distressed or in some state of foreclosure, you could do that. Down here, we could look at things such as absentee owners. So if you want to reach out to people who are renting and see if they perhaps would rather buy, there's 218 people or properties in this neighborhood that qualify for that. Another thing that's kind of nice to do is right below that is the time owned. So if you think that people who have owned their home between 10 and 15 years are good candidates to maybe, you know, get a bigger home or a smaller home, that might be a good group to go after. And we can see there's 72 of them here. So let's go ahead and update our search. And now we can see where those 72 homes are on our map. Now we do have different displays. We have a grid view where you can see pictures of the different properties. And we also have a list view where you can see a list of those properties. All of the different displays do have a link to the mailing labels, which I'm going to click on. And in RPR, you get 2,000 mailing labels per month that's included in RPR. So you can either download these Avery label styles, which is going to be a PDF that you can then reprint month after month if you want to. You don't have to keep re-downloading those labels. Or you can download it as a CSV file and import it into a contact management program, something like that. So it's a really nice tool that you have the option of. And then here we have the, you know, where you can customize the label. So again, you have the property address if you want to mail it to. You have the tax billing address for, again, those non-owner occupied properties. We'd be mailing to the owner at a different address. So it's kind of a nice feature. And then you can decide how you want it addressed, you know, the owner's name or current resident, or, you know, or make something else up that you'd like to put in there. And then below that are the filters. So again, here we can see there's 65 people that have owned that property between 10 and 15 years. Now, if we click on absentee owners, well, there's only 9 of those homes that are currently rented to somebody, or we can do the owner occupied, which would be 56. So again, very easy to kind of decide how you want to do these labels. And then it'll show you how many there are. And again, like I mentioned, you get 2,000 labels per month. So use however many you want. Come November 1st, it'll be reset to 2,000, and you'll have those to use again.
Very nice. That's very nice. That's some nice prospecting tips there. I really like the I mean it's all fantastic, but the map's fantastic. You guys hit a home run on the website. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's very, I know, I reading the literature, I think it was clean, clear, concise, consolidated. It was a lot of C's, but you know, you guys definitely, it's really a nice layout, and the map is very nice. I really like the big pencil when you draw. I I don't
That's
know
right.
why.
When you're doing the freehand draw.
Yeah. But
Those
whether you
are
can get
all
into the
good.
neighborhoods, you know, you can get into those neighborhoods if you want to really cut those out, right? Otherwise, it's nice that you guys have those layers. And what I really like about the layers, like you just click on it and it elevates anything within that boundary, right? Rather than, you know, if I don't want to have to cut out something. So it gives you the option.
Exactly.
So,
And I think, you know, what Ernie pointed out too is just, I mean, between exploring the show geographies, one way to filter on a map, but also just your search criteria, using that filters up at the top on the search bar. You know, people kind of forget about that. And Ernie might circle around where that more filters again is. And that's just so important if you're really trying to narrow down a search for listings or within your property records. And, you know, there's so many different ways to be looking for potential, you know, sellers. And I think the power of how long has that owner owned a home that's underneath that filters is really powerful. And you get to control that. If you know that the turnover is, you know, every 5 years in a neighborhood, you can do that. You know, statistics from NAR do show that the average has been 10 years plus is that optimum time for people that want to sell. But that's totally up to you, that you have the control over those filters. So that's really helpful. And the mailing labels, you know, option there is just a great extra feature. 2,000 mailing labels free of charge, or, you know, in that CSV file for you to import, is a great value as part of your NAR member benefit that RPR it provides to you. So it's a great.
Really, it's an all-in-one. I can tell you, for our subscribers, go in there, play around in there. And what I love is, you know, it takes literally a couple of minutes after, and you've completely forgotten about the old ways. It's such an easy way to guide through it.
Yeah, it really is true. Ernie, I'm trying to think, are there any other little items that we wanted to talk about today that we've overlooked?
I tell you, you know what?
Our tips,
I think those tips were fantastic. Everything looks great. Why don't we go ahead and just, as we wrap up here, that learning button there. So for our agents that, well, hey, you guys, we've got you guys on our training calendar. So, you know, our agents can go in there, register, and go into your guys' classes, which is fantastic. You know, there's so much to learn, but that learn button is really cool. You see right there, when you guys click that learn, it's specific to the page you're on and the topic you're on, right?
Yeah. So if I go to a report page, it's different now. It's changed,
right?
Because it kind of knows where you're at and what you probably are looking for.
That is very nice. So if I get hung up on a page or I think I need some, just click that learn button right there, and it's going to give you specific to what you're looking at right there. But you guys also have webinars, I saw tutorials that are really specific. You can really narrow it down to whether you want to watch a 2-minute video or a longer video. And that's another great.
Yeah, and that's here under the help button. We've got a link to our training area, and that's on our blog site. But it's really nice here. We've got it sorted by type of training. Here we have all of the different topics. So, you know, for instance, if we wanted to look at farming, just those topics, we've got an ebook here that's, you know, how to farm and how to prospect. We've got a full webinar that would be like an hour-long presentation. And then we even have these tutorials, which are just short little videos that also include a printable guide. So again, however you want to learn, we've got it for you.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, so much data, so much data.
There is. But, you know, trying to educate and support the learning needs of what, 1.6 million realtors. We've just found that, some people like live webinars where they feel that they could interact, but many of those live webinars also have an on-demand button as well. So, whether it's 9 a.m. or 1 a.m. and you can't sleep and you want to watch an RPR video or two, this is all available for you. But the print guides, as Ernie mentioned, and ebooks, and there's just, no matter what skill level you're at as well, or how much time you may have. So you can filter all these learning, options in a lot of different ways. So we encourage you to just dig in and really take a look.
Right.
And one other feature too is that you'll find on the website is one, always access to our help desk that's 24/7, right? 7 days a week, friendly folks in Omaha, Nebraska. They do a phenomenal job. And we also have our Facebook RPR Connect group. And we encourage, realtors to jump on that group because it's really feedback and questions and comments coming from users that you get to interact with. Awesome. So that's a great resource too. And that's RPR Connect.
You guys have it all. I tell you, Andrea, Ernie, I'm gonna have you guys back. In January, I think we'll start off the new year. We'll take a look at that RPR mobile, and knowing you guys, by that time you'll have a bunch of new stuff because it seems to be always good is truly never enough for RPR.
I like that slogan. I like that slogan.
We appreciate it. Everything you guys do. You guys are great partners. So much training and educational resources, and just the website's fantastic. So,
and we truly appreciate the support and enthusiasm that MLS Listings, you and the entire staff really have to support, what RPR was intended to do is just help realtors be efficient and effective within their business. And we're both in that business to support our members and subscribers. So we appreciate you letting us always jump on and be with you on these sessions.
Well, thank you very much. Honor is ours as always. And, we'll see you guys. Have a great holidays. We'll see you in the next year. To our subscribers, thanks for tuning in. And keep an eye out for our next vendor spotlight, which will probably be RPR in January because we got the holidays right around the corner. And so there's probably a great year end of year wrap up. So thanks again, Andrea and Ernie, and we'll see you all soon.
Thanks so much, Dave.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.